I want to welcome all of our witnesses, and at this time I will give my opening statement and then yield to the ranking member, Mr. Keating. If the United States economy wants to grow, it has to export. 95% of a business's potential customers are not in the United States. They're in other countries. The more foreign customers we can sell American-made goods to, the more jobs we create right here in the United States. Trade is the lifeblood of Houston and the state of Texas. Houston exports more than any other city in the United States. In Texas, more than 1 in 5 jobs are supported by trade. The Port of Houston, 50% of the economy of Houston, Texas, is based on the Port of Houston. The Port of Houston is an export port. It exports all types of items throughout the world. The question before us today, does the Export-Import Bank help U.S. businesses trade and grow exports in a global economy? Congress founded the Export-Import Bank to facilitate American trade overseas and help guarantee financing for U.S. businesses. The charter has been renewed every year since 1934. That streak of 80 years ended this year. The bank expired on July the 1st. The concept of an export credit agency is not unique to the United States. The U.S. Ex-Im Bank is one of at least 85 export credit agencies throughout the world. Some countries have more than one. Supporters of reauthorizing Ex-Im Bank argue that eliminating the bank is tantamount to unilateral disarmament, putting U.S. companies at a competitive disadvantages with their competitors worldwide. There's no reason to believe, they say, that other countries will follow our lead to abolish their export credit agency. Instead, other countries like China and Russia will be happy to take our business for themselves. In the last 3 months, we've seen that start to happen. GE announced that 100 jobs will be moved next year from a facility near my district in Houston, Texas, to Hungary and China. Why? So GE can access foreign export credit for its customers of gas turbines. The lapse in reauthorization impacts more than big companies like GE. It affects many small businesses. Cindy Lewis, president of Airborne Incorporated, electronic connector manufacturer in Georgetown, Texas, put it this way, quote, "Maybe Boeing can weather a shutdown of the Export-Import Bank, but small businesses in Texas that make up nearly 90% of the transactions cannot." Supporters of the bank also argue that Ex-Im only finances deals that the private sector cannot finance alone. For some large infrastructure projects in international markets, a bid will not even be accepted if a company does not have access to an export credit agency. And some billion-dollar opportunities for American companies in international markets require the availability of export credit before they will even entertain a bid. Without Ex-Im Bank to level the playing field, supporters say American companies will continue to lose out to foreign competitors backed by aggressive government support. However, on the other hand, opponents of the bank see it as corporate welfare subsidized by taxpayer dollars. They believe the companies will be able to get the private financing needed for their business opportunities overseas. In a free market, the United States government, opponents argue, should not pick winners and losers. While they admit that some people may lose their jobs, they also say this is a global economy and that companies moving jobs overseas, that will happen regardless of the Ex-Im Bank. They also say that this is only a minor fraction of U.S. exports, being only 2%. The bottom line is this: buyers overseas want American products, and no one innovates better than the United States worker. When a person combines the strength of the American spirit with a level playing field, American companies can win and can compete. The purpose of this hearing is to find out whether the unilateral eliminating of the American Ex-Im Bank has put American export industry and jobs at a global disadvantage.